The silent threat. The vast expanse of the galaxy was quiet, as it always had been, or so the Galactic Empire believed. Their mighty fleets patrolled the stars, their powerful technology unmatched, their rule uncontested. But in the shadows of a forgotten corner of the galaxy, something unusual stirred, something they had overlooked. It began with a faint, irregular signal. The signal was weak and erratic, almost like static interference, coming from an uncharted sector. The Empire's analysts, confident in their superior tech, dismissed it as nothing more than a natural phenomenon or interference from some ancient, dying star. After all, what threat could possibly exist in a sector so far removed from the central galactic territories? Still, protocol demanded some level of investigation. A small scout fleet was dispatched to the source of the signal. It was a routine mission, one that the seasoned officers treated as a training exercise for their junior crew. The scout ships, sleek and bristling with advanced weaponry, moved toward the edge of the sector where the signal originated. Upon arrival, the fleet encountered a peculiar sight: small metallic objects resembling crude ships, drifting lazily through the void. These vessels were unlike anything the Empire had seen before, primitive in design, outdated by thousands of years according to their standards. The officers aboard the Imperial flagship smirked. "Is this what we've come all this way for?" "Junk," one of the officers muttered, his voice dripping with contempt. The captain, a sharp-eyed veteran named Voss, narrowed his eyes at the holographic display. Something about the situation felt off. These ships seemed too deliberate in their positioning, almost as if they were waiting. "Scan them," Voss ordered, his voice calm but firm. The ship's scanners swept over the strange vessels, reporting no energy signatures, no weapon systems, and no signs of life. They appeared to be nothing more than derelicts, drifting aimlessly in space. Yet Voss couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "Sir, no threats detected," the sensor officer confirmed. "Good," Voss said after a moment's hesitation. "Proceed with caution. Bring us closer." As the Imperial fleet advanced, something extraordinary happened. One by one, the strange ships began to vanish. Not disintegrate, not explode, vanish. They blinked out of existence, leaving no trace behind. Alarm bells sounded on the Imperial ships as the crew scrambled to make sense of what they had just witnessed. "Where did they go?" Voss demanded, his voice rising for the first time. "Unknown, sir. They're completely off our sensors." The crew worked feverishly, but there was no explanation. Then the unthinkable occurred. One of the scout ships, positioned near the edge of the formation, suddenly went dark. Its lights flickered, its systems failed, and within seconds it was gone, reduced to nothing but a field of debris. "Report," Voss barked, his heart pounding. "No energy signatures detected, sir. It's like it was destroyed without being attacked." Panic spread through the bridge. Voss forced himself to remain calm, though his mind raced. No visible attackers, no weapons detected, no explanation for the destruction. Whatever they were dealing with, it was unlike anything the Empire had encountered before. "Activate full shields," Voss commanded, "and pull the fleet back. We're not alone out here." The remaining scout ships attempted to regroup, their sensors frantically searching for any sign of the invisible enemy. For a moment, there was silence. Nothing but the steady hum of engines and the quiet buzz of equipment. Then, out of the void, came a sound that froze every soul aboard the Imperial fleet. A voice, cold, mechanical, and unwavering. It echoed through their communication channels, cutting through all frequencies. "You do not belong here. Leave this sector, or face annihilation." The voice carried no emotion, no hint of a bluff. It was a simple, chilling statement of fact. Voss's instincts screamed at him to retreat, but the pride of the Empire was not so easily swayed. "Trace that signal," Voss ordered, desperate for answers. But before the crew could comply, another ship vanished, obliterated by an unseen force. The Empire's vaunted technology, so reliable and advanced, was powerless against this enemy. "Captain, we've lost another vessel," the comms officer shouted, panic now clear in his voice. Voss clenched his fists. The message was clear. This was no ordinary scouting mission, and their arrogance had led them into a trap. He had no choice. "Retreat," Voss commanded, his voice heavy with defeat. "We're outmatched." The remaining ships of the scout fleet turned and fled, their engines burning brightly as they sped away from the mysterious sector. As they left, the voice echoed one last time through their comms. "Your arrogance blinds you. Return, and you will not leave again." Back in the heart of the Galactic Empire, the scout fleet's report was met with disbelief. How could such a backwater sector, inhabited by primitives, pose a threat to their mighty forces? The Empire, proud and unyielding, refused to acknowledge the warning. But Captain Voss knew better. As he stared at the debris reports of his lost ships, he whispered to himself, "We underestimated them, and we'll pay for it." Little did the Empire know, this was only the beginning. Earth was not the weak, insignificant planet they believed it to be. In the shadows of the galaxy, humanity had been preparing for this moment, and the Galactic Empire had just made its first fatal mistake. Earth's hidden arsenal. The Galactic Empire's scout fleet limped back to its nearest outpost, their once pristine ships scared and their crew shaken. The Imperial Council dismissed the incident as an unfortunate anomaly. Primitive vessels couldn't possibly pose a threat, they reasoned. But back on Earth, the mysterious disappearance of the scout fleet was hailed as a triumph, one carefully planned and executed in secret. For decades, Earth had been watching. It started when a faint alien transmission was intercepted during a routine satellite sweep years ago. The signal spoke of a vast empire, galaxies away, expanding relentlessly and consuming all in its path. Earth, still divided and skeptical of extraterrestrial life, initially ignored the threat. But a handful of visionaries in the global defense network didn't. They realized that if such a power existed, Earth would one day be discovered. And when that happened, humanity wouldn't stand a chance, not unless they prepared. Project Obsidian was born in the shadows, known only to a handful of leaders, scientists, and military personnel. Governments funneled resources into black budgets, building a technological arsenal unlike anything Earth had ever known. They reverse-engineered energy manipulation from the transmission's encrypted data, developed stealth systems that bent light and sensors, and harnessed quantum computing to create cloaking technologies that made their ships invisible to even the most advanced alien detection methods. But their greatest innovation was the disruption field generator. To an outside observer, it was an unassuming sphere of dark alloy. In practice, it was a weapon that rendered shields useless, technology inert, and communications impossible. A ghost in the machine that no empire, no matter how advanced, could counter. As the Galactic Empire dismissed Earth's potential, the people of Earth continued to build. They didn't just prepare for defense. They prepared for an ambush. Every piece of alien data they intercepted, every signal that leaked across the void, only made them stronger. Inside a hidden bunker deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Commander Rhea Carter, leader of Earth's Defense Initiative, reviewed the scout fleet's retreat. The screen in front of her replayed footage captured by Earth's stealth probes, tiny, undetectable drones that had been trailing the Empire's fleet. The destruction of the scout ships wasn't an accident. It was a test. "They didn't stand a chance," Carter said, her voice steady but laced with unease. "But they'll be back. And this time, they'll bring an armada." Beside her, Dr. Elias Voss, the brilliant mind behind the disruption field generator, nodded grimly. "They underestimated us once. They won't make that mistake again." Rhea's attention shifted to the room's large holographic display, showing a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. The Empire's territories were marked in red, a sprawling web of controlled sectors. Earth's position was a single blue dot on the far edge of the map, insignificant in comparison. Do you think they'll risk a full-scale invasion? Elias asked, adjusting his glasses. They're an empire, Rhea replied. Empires don't tolerate embarrassment. They'll come, and they'll want to make an example of us. On the other side of the galaxy, in the heart of the Galactic Empire, the Emperor himself reviewed the scout fleet's failure. A towering figure with cold, piercing eyes, he listened as Captain Darren Voss delivered his report. The Emperor was silent for a long time after Voss finished, his expression unreadable. Primitive ships, you say? The Emperor finally spoke, his voice as calm and deadly as a blade's edge. Yet they destroyed 3 of my vessels without a trace. Voss hesitated. Yes, Your Excellency. Their technology is unconventional. They've developed methods that seem to bypass our defenses entirely. The Emperor's gaze darkened. Then we'll adapt. Send a second fleet, a larger one. I want this Earth to kneel before me, its people brought to heel. Back on Earth, preparations intensified. In orbit, cloaked shipyards worked around the clock, producing Earth's new line of warships, sleek, black vessels equipped with next-generation stealth and weaponry. Each ship was outfitted with railguns capable of firing projectiles at near-light speeds, EMP launchers to disable enemy fleets, and a crowning jewel, disruption field generators. In the bunker, Rhea Carter addressed a gathering of Earth's best minds. Scientists, strategists, and soldiers sat around the war room table, their faces illuminated by the holographic projections of enemy fleets. We've delayed the inevitable, Rhea began. But make no mistake, this isn't over. The Empire will return, and when they do, we need to be ready. A young officer spoke up. Do we know what they'll send next? They'll send overwhelming force, Rhea said bluntly. But they don't know what we're capable of. We're not just defending Earth anymore. We're defending the idea that we won't be another nameless world crushed under their boot. The room fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in. For the first time in history, humanity was united, not against each other, but against a common enemy. And they were determined to win. As Earth braced for the coming storm, deep in the cold vacuum of space, a signal pulsed across the galaxy. A message from the Galactic Empire to its war fleets: eliminate Earth, show no mercy. But as the Empire mobilized, something it couldn't foresee was already happening. Earth's stealth probes had infiltrated their communication lines. Every plan, every fleet movement, every weakness, they knew it all. And in the silence of Earth's hidden command centers, a single message was broadcast in return, aimed directly at the Emperor's flagship. Come, we've been waiting for you. The stage was set. The Galactic Empire thought it was coming to crush Earth, but humanity had already begun setting its trap. In the coming conflict, it wouldn't just be Earth fighting for survival. It would be humanity proving it was far more dangerous than anyone in the galaxy had ever imagined. First strike. The Galactic Empire's fleet emerged from hyperspace with all the arrogance and precision that defined their rule. Thousands of ships, each gleaming with the Empire's signature black and silver plating, stretched across the void like a metallic storm. They formed an unbreakable wall of power and technology, ready to crush the insignificant planet that had dared to defy them. Admiral Kale Drekar, a calculating and ruthless tactician, stood on the bridge of the Dominion, the Empire's flagship. The vessel was a behemoth, over 10 kilometers long, bristling with weaponry that could obliterate entire moons. Drekar watched Earth come into view, a small blue orb that barely seemed worth the effort. Primitive, he muttered, sneering. This won't take long. Far below, in Earth's hidden command bunker, Commander Rhea Carter monitored the Empire's arrival. The tension in the room was palpable, but her voice was steady as she addressed the gathered officers. They're here, she said, and they brought everything. A holographic display showed the Empire's fleet, a massive red wave slowly advancing toward Earth's orbit. Earth's own fleet, hidden under cloaking fields and scattered across strategic positions, was marked in faint blue. On the surface, defensive systems were armed and operational, camouflaged to appear as ordinary structures. From space, Earth looked defenseless, a deliberate illusion. Rhea turned to Dr. Ilias Voss, who stood beside her with a data pad in hand. "Is the disruption grid ready?" "It's online," Elias replied. "Once they cross the threshold, their technology will be useless." Rhea nodded, her jaw tightening. "Let's hope they're as overconfident as we think." The Empire's fleet approached Earth's atmosphere, their weapons powering up. From the Dominion, Admiral Drakkar issued his commands. "All ships, target their major population centers. Make it swift. Let them know what happens when they challenge the Empire." As the fleet moved into attack formation, the trap was sprung. High above Earth, invisible to Imperial sensors, Earth's first strike fleet activated. Cloaking fields shimmered as sleek, black ships emerged from the void. Unlike the bulky designs of the Empire, these vessels were streamlined for speed and stealth. They carried no insignia, no markings, only the cutting-edge technology of a planet that had prepared in secret for decades. Captain Leona Vega, commanding the Obsidian Spear, Earth's flagship, gave the order. "All units, engage the disruption field. Make them feel it." Across the fleet, powerful disruption generators roared to life. The invisible field expanded outward, washing over the Empire's ships like a silent wave. On the Dominion, Admiral Drakkar's confidence turned to confusion as systems began to fail. "Report," he barked, slamming his fist on the console. "Sir, shields are offline." An officer cried. "Weapons systems unresponsive. Communications are down." Drakkar's eyes narrowed. "How is that possible? They're primitives." Earth's ships struck with surgical precision. Railguns fired projectiles at near-light speed, tearing through the Empire's unshielded vessels. EMP missiles detonated, leaving Imperial ships adrift and helpless. The once imposing fleet was in chaos, unable to coordinate or retaliate. On the ground, Earth's hidden defenses came alive. Satellites disguised as debris unleashed directed energy beams, carving through the Empire's ranks. Automated drones swarmed like angry hornets, targeting weak points and finishing off crippled ships. Inside the Obsidian Spear, Captain Vega grinned as the battle unfolded. "They didn't see this coming," she said. Her tactical officer, a young prodigy named Marcus Lynn, studied the fleet's movements. "They're scattering." Typical Imperial arrogance. They weren't prepared for resistance. "Good," Vega replied. "Keep the pressure on. No mercy." As Earth's fleet advanced, one of the smaller Imperial ships attempted to retreat, its engines sputtering. The Obsidian Spear closed in, its railguns aimed at the vessel's core. "Send them a message," Vega said. A single railgun shot pierced the ship, igniting its reactor. The explosion lit up the void, a signal to the rest of the Empire's fleet. Earth wasn't running. Earth was fighting back. On the Dominion, Admiral Drakkar struggled to regain control of the situation. "Reroute power. Re-establish communications." "Sir, it's no use," an officer said. "We've lost contact with half the fleet." Drakkar's pride burned hotter than his anger. He had underestimated these so-called primitives, and now his fleet was paying the price. But he wasn't ready to retreat. "Deploy the reserve ships," he ordered. "Overwhelm them with numbers. Let's see how they handle a full assault." As reinforcements poured out of hyperspace, Earth's fleet adapted. The cloaked ships split into smaller strike groups, baiting the Imperial ships into traps. Every move the Empire made was anticipated, every counterattack rendered ineffective. In the command bunker, Rhea Carter watched the battle unfold. The holographic display showed the Empire's fleet shrinking as Earth's forces systematically dismantled it. "They're still holding back," Elias noted. "The Dominion hasn't entered the fight." "They will," Rhea said. "Pride won't let them stay out of this. And when they do, We'll be ready." Admiral Drakkar, enraged by the mounting losses, finally gave the order. "Bring the Dominion forward. If they want to fight, we'll show them what true power looks like." As the flagship advanced, its weapons hummed back to life, partially shielded from the disruption field by experimental countermeasures. It unleashed a barrage of plasma cannons, forcing Earth's ships to scatter. But even as the Dominion pressed its advantage, a single message appeared on its main display. Simple, direct, and chilling. "Welcome to Earth." The message was followed by a concentrated strike from Earth's forces. Railguns, drones, and energy beams converged on the Dominion, tearing through its weakened defenses. The Empire's mighty flagship shuddered under the assault, its hull breached in multiple places. As the battle reached its climax, Admiral Drakkar realized the horrifying truth. Earth wasn't just fighting to survive. Earth was fighting to win. And it was succeeding. The Empire's secret agenda. The Dominion, the Galactic Empire's flagship, limped through space, its hull battered and scorched from Earth's relentless assault. On board, Admiral Cal Drakkar stood in silence, watching the remaining ships of his once mighty fleet retreat into hyperspace. The humiliation was unbearable. For the first time in his career, the invincible Galactic Empire had been forced to flee. But what burned Drakkar more than the loss of ships or soldiers was the realization that Earth's forces had outsmarted them. Their primitive technology was anything but. Cloaked vessels, weapons that bypassed shields, and tactics that neutralized even the Empire's most advanced strategies. This was no accident. This was preparation. Far below, in Earth's Antarctic command bunker, Commander Rhea Carter stood before a captured Imperial data core. The artifact had been extracted from the remains of an enemy ship destroyed during the battle. It was a treasure trove of information, encrypted, yes, but Earth's top scientists and AI systems were already hard at work cracking it open. Dr. Elias Voss, the head of Earth's Advanced Technology Division, leaned over a console. "This is more than just fleet logistics," he said, his voice tense. "If we can decode this, we'll have a window into how the Empire operates. Tactics, weapons, even their chain of command." "Focus on priority one," Rhea replied, arms crossed. "I want to know why they're here. Earth wasn't just a random target." Hours later, the data core finally gave up its secrets. On the main screen, a galactic map illuminated the war room. It showed dozens of star systems, each marked with a designation. One by one, Dr. Voss explained the pattern. "These are all planets the Empire has conquered over the last century," he began. "They follow a pattern, targeting resource-rich worlds with sentient life." "Slavers," Rhea muttered, her voice cold. "Classic Empire playbook." "Not just slavers," Voss corrected, pulling up a second map. "This is Earth's sector. According to the core, it's one of the last untouched regions in the galaxy. They're not here just to conquer us. They're here because they've run out of worlds to exploit. Earth is the final piece of their puzzle." The data revealed more horrifying details. The Empire's expansion wasn't just about control, it was about survival. Their civilization had grown so vast, so dependent on its conquered territories, that it needed a constant influx of resources to sustain itself. Without new planets to strip and populations to enslave, the Empire would collapse under its own weight. And now, Earth was next on their list. "They see us as fuel," Rhea said, her fists clenched. "Not as a civilization, not as people, just resources." Dr. Voss nodded grimly. "But there's more. Look at this." He brought up a series of encrypted transmissions, intercepted from the Empire's fleet. They weren't just routine orders. They were experiments. The Empire had been testing biological and psychological warfare on conquered species, using entire planets as laboratories for their twisted agenda. Rhea's stomach churned as she read the files. "They're monsters." "No," Voss said, his voice colder than usual. "Monsters are predictable. These people are worse. They're systematic." Meanwhile, deep in the Empire's core territories, The Galactic Emperor sat in his shadowy throne room. Word of the humiliating defeat at Earth had reached him, and his expression was unreadable as he listened to Admiral Drakkar's report. "They were prepared for us, Your Excellency," Drakkar said, his voice laced with fear. Earth is no ordinary planet. They've developed weapons and tactics unlike anything we've encountered. They even managed to intercept some of our encrypted communications." The Emperor leaned forward, his eyes glinting with malice. "Then they have something worth taking. A species that develops such ingenuity under pressure would be a valuable addition to our ranks, or a dangerous enemy if left unchecked." Drakkar hesitated. "Your Excellency, I recommend a full-scale invasion. Overwhelming force will crush them before they can adapt further." "No," the Emperor said, his voice like a blade. "Not yet. We will learn from them first, break them from within." Back on Earth, preparations continued. The revelation of the Empire's true agenda had unified humanity like never before. Nations that had once been rivals now worked together seamlessly, pooling their resources and knowledge. Engineers and scientists worked day and night, perfecting Earth's defenses and building new weapons. In orbit, the Obsidian Spear led a fleet of newly constructed ships. Each vessel was outfitted with improved cloaking systems and enhanced disruption field generators. Earth wasn't waiting to be attacked again. It was preparing to go on the offensive. But even as Earth's leaders celebrated their progress, shadows moved within their ranks. The intercepted data core had revealed another chilling detail. The Empire's use of sleeper agents, individuals planted on target worlds, programmed to sabotage from within when activated. In the war room, Rhea Carter and Dr. Voss reviewed a list of Earth's highest security breaches in recent years. Strange disappearances, unexplained data leaks, and odd behavior among certain officials painted a troubling picture. "They've been here longer than we thought," Rhea said, her voice low. "They've been watching us, studying us, and now they'll act," Voss added. "If the Empire can't defeat us in open battle, they'll try to tear us apart from the inside." The tension was palpable as Earth prepared for the next phase of the war. The Empire's fleets would return, stronger and more prepared. But Earth's greatest battle might not come from the skies. It could come from within. In the shadows of the command bunker, the lone figure slipped away, unnoticed among the chaos. Their movements were deliberate, their expression unreadable. Deep within their mind, a dormant program stirred. A signal from the Empire, activating its sleeper agents. Earth had proven it could fight back against the Empire's fleet. But now, it faced a more insidious enemy: betrayal. Battle for Earth. The Galactic Empire returned sooner than anyone anticipated. Unlike the chaotic retreat of their scout fleet, this time they emerged in perfect formation, an overwhelming armada that blanketed the skies above Earth. From the shadow of the Dominion, Admiral Cal Drakkar stared coldly at the blue planet below. It was unthinkable that this small, distant world had resisted the Empire's might, and he intended to ensure they would never do so again. Far below, in Earth's command bunker, Commander Rhea Carter stood at the center of a tense war room. The holographic display flickered, showing the full scale of the Empire's forces. Thousands of ships, ranging from nimble fighters to colossal dreadnoughts, orbited Earth like a storm of metal. The sight sent a chill through the gathered officers, but Rhea's voice cut through the silence. "This is it," she said. "They're throwing everything at us." Dr. Ilias Voss, standing beside her, adjusted his glasses and pointed to the hologram. "Their formation suggests they're confident. They're expecting a quick victory." Rhea's lips curved into a grim smile. "Then we'll make them regret underestimating us again." Earth's fleet, now far larger and more advanced than it had been during the first encounter, was cloaked and waiting. Hidden within asteroid fields, behind the moon, and even camouflaged in Earth's atmosphere, the ships were poised to strike. The Obsidian Spear, Earth's flagship, hovered silently above the planet, its crew ready. "Captain Vega," Rhea's voice came through the comms, You're greenlit for Phase 1. On board the Obsidian Spear, Captain Leona Vega nodded, her hand steady on the controls. Acknowledged. Let's show them what Earth is made of. Phase 1 began with precision and chaos. Earth's cloaked ships darted out of hiding, targeting the Empire's fleet from every angle. Railguns fired projectiles faster than the eye could track, ripping through Imperial hulls. EMP missiles detonated, leaving swaths of the Armada adrift. Earth's drones, operating in synchronized swarms, targeted critical systems, rendering ships useless before vanishing back into the shadows. Admiral Drekkar's bridge erupted in shouts as alarms blared. Shields are down on the forward line. Multiple ships are reporting complete system failures. Impossible, Drekkar growled. Where are they attacking from? Everywhere. An officer replied, panic in his voice. We can't track them. Drekkar slammed his fist on the console. Order the fleet to spread out and form a defensive perimeter. Find those ships and destroy them. But Earth's forces didn't give the Empire time to regroup. As soon as the Imperial fleet adjusted, the second wave struck. Satellites disguised as debris powered up, firing concentrated energy beams into the heart of the Empire's formation. The attacks were devastating, cutting through even the largest dreadnoughts. On the ground, Earth's cities were far from idle. Massive surface-to-orbit cannons, hidden beneath ordinary-looking structures, emerged and fired devastating blasts. Automated defense drones patrolled the skies, ready to intercept any Imperial ships that breached the planetary defense grid. Humanity had turned its entire planet into a fortress. Multiple enemy ships are falling into the atmosphere, an officer reported in the bunker. They're trying to break through the defenses. Let them, Rhea replied. Ground teams are waiting. In cities like New York, Shanghai, and Lagos, Earth's last line of defense prepared for impact. Advanced mech units, piloted by elite soldiers, stood ready to engage any enemy that made it to the surface. Each mech was armed with plasma cannons, shields, and EMP grenades designed to neutralize Imperial technology. When the first Imperial dropships descended, they were met with unrelenting resistance. Mechs engaged in brutal combat, tearing through the invaders with ruthless efficiency. Civilians watched from bunkers and underground shelters, their fear tempered by the knowledge that humanity was fighting back. Above the planet, the battle raged on. Despite Earth's overwhelming tactics, the Empire's sheer numbers began to take a toll. For every Imperial ship destroyed, another seemed to take its place. Earth's fleet suffered heavy losses as the Dominion pushed forward, its experimental countermeasures allowing it to bypass the disruption field. On the Obsidian Spear, Captain Vega watched as Earth's forces began to falter. They're adapting faster than we anticipated, she said to her tactical officer. We need to hit them harder. Rhea's voice came through the comms. Vega, focus all firepower on the Dominion. If we take it out, the rest of the fleet will fall apart. Aye, Commander, Vega replied. She turned to her crew. You heard her. Target the flagship. Full assault. The Obsidian Spear led the charge, joined by a squadron of Earth's most advanced ships. They launched a relentless attack on the Dominion, firing everything they had. The flagship shuddered under the barrage, its shields flickering. On board, Admiral Drekkar barked orders, determined to hold the line. Redirect all power to forward shields. He shouted, we will not fall to these primitives. But even as the Empire's flagship held its ground, a new threat emerged. From deep space, an unexpected fleet entered the fray. They weren't Imperial ships. They were allies. Liberated worlds, inspired by Earth's resistance, had joined the fight. The newcomers struck with fury, targeting the Empire's rear flank. Their ships were cobbled together, a patchwork of salvage technology, but their determination was unmatched. The combined forces of Earth and its allies overwhelmed the Empire's armada, turning the tide of the battle. On the Dominion, Admiral Drekkar stared in disbelief as his fleet crumbled around him. This cannot be, he whispered. "We are the Empire. We are invincible." But invincible they were not. With one final, concentrated assault, the obsidian spear delivered the killing blow to the Dominion, piercing its reactor core. The flagship exploded in a blinding flash of light, taking with it the last vestiges of the Empire's command. As the surviving Imperial ships retreated, the skies above Earth cleared. In the command bunker, Rhea Carter allowed herself a rare smile. "We did it," she said softly. But Dr. Voss frowned. This was just the beginning. "They'll come back, stronger than ever." "Let them," Rhea replied, her voice resolute. "Earth doesn't just survive. We fight. And we win." Humanity had faced the might of the Galactic Empire. And for now, it had prevailed. But the war was far from over. In the ruins of the Dominion, dark plans were already in motion, and Earth's greatest challenge was yet to come. The Alliance. The skies above Earth were finally clear. Wreckage from the Galactic Empire's fleet drifted in orbit, the remnants of a battle humanity had no right to win, but did. On the surface, celebrations erupted in hidden bunkers and underground cities. Earth had fought back against an unbeatable enemy, and for the first time in history, humans stood together, unified under a single cause. But for Commander Rhea Carter, there was no celebration. Deep in the Antarctic command bunker, she and her team worked tirelessly, preparing for the inevitable. The Galactic Empire wasn't finished, and this victory would only provoke them to return in even greater force. They had bought time, nothing more. The holographic map in the war room flickered to life, showing new ships approaching Earth. The tension in the room was immediate. Had the Empire already launched another fleet? But as the signatures were analyzed, a collective breath of relief swept through the team. "These aren't Imperial ships," Dr. Elias Voss said, studying the data. "They're something else." Moments later, the main screen displayed the arriving vessels. They were mismatched and heavily modified, a stark contrast to the sleek precision of the Empire's fleet. Some were enormous, bristling with salvaged weapons, while others were barely larger than escape pods, their hulls patched together with scavenged materials. It was a ragtag armada, one that bore no allegiance to the Empire. "It's them," Rhea said, her voice low with realization. "The ones the Empire enslaved. The ones they conquered." The room fell silent as a message came through the comms, spoken in broken English but filled with gratitude. "Earth, you fought. You won. Now we fight with you." The arrival of the liberated fleets was nothing short of extraordinary. Species from across the galaxy, each with their own unique technologies and tactics, joined humanity in its stand against the Empire. They brought with them invaluable intelligence, the Empire's weaknesses, supply routes, and hidden agendas. These species had been waiting for a spark. Earth had ignited a rebellion they thought impossible. On board one of the largest alien vessels, Rhea Carter and Dr. Voss met with the leaders of the newly formed alliance. The room was filled with beings of all shapes and sizes, some towering with crystalline forms, others small and insect-like, their many eyes darting nervously. Despite their differences, they shared one thing: a deep hatred for the Empire. A being with smooth, metallic skin spoke first. "Your defiance against the Empire inspired us. For centuries, we believed resistance was futile. But you, humans, showed us otherwise." Rhea nodded, her voice calm but firm. "The Empire underestimated us. They'll do the same to all of you if we stand together." Another leader, resembling a reptilian creature with vibrant scales, growled, "Standing together is one thing. Winning is another. The Empire's strength lies not just in their fleets but in their strategy. They will adapt. They always do." "They haven't faced this before," Dr. Voss interjected. "Earth isn't just fighting to survive. We're fighting to end their rule." The room buzzed with agreement, and the alliance was solidified. The galaxy's oppressed had found a common purpose, and Earth was at its center. In the following weeks, the alliance grew. Using Earth's advanced stealth technology, the combined fleet launched raids on Imperial supply lines, crippling their ability to regroup. Liberated planets joined the fight, their people rallying to the cause. Each victory sent ripples through the galaxy, sparking rebellion in even the most remote sectors. But the Empire wasn't idle. Deep within their core worlds, the Emperor himself watched the growing resistance with cold calculation. The loss at Earth had shaken his council, but he saw an opportunity. The more species that rallied to Earth's banner, the more enemies he could crush in a single strike. The Alliance's victories weren't without cost. Earth's fleet, though advanced, was still outnumbered and constantly on the brink of exhaustion. Supplies ran low, and the strain of constant battle began to show. In the command bunker, Rhea Carter stared at the latest reports. The Alliance had liberated 3 more star systems, but the Empire had retaliated by wiping out an entire colony, a brutal reminder of what was at stake. "We can't keep this up forever," she admitted to Dr. Voss, her voice heavy with fatigue. "If the Empire brings their full force, we're finished." Voss adjusted his glasses, a rare flicker of doubt in his usually sharp eyes. "That's why we need to take the fight to them. Strike at the heart of their power before they can regroup." Rhea frowned. "The core worlds are fortified. Even with the Alliance, we don't have the firepower for a direct assault." "Not yet," Voss said, his voice quiet but determined. "But we will." The key lay in the data Earth had recovered from the Empire's destroyed flagship. Deep within the encrypted files, Earth's analysts discovered a weakness, a secret research facility on the edge of the Empire's territory. The facility housed experimental technology, including a prototype weapon that could shift the balance of power. If the Alliance could capture the weapon, they might stand a chance. Rhea convened the leaders of the Alliance to present the plan. The mission would be dangerous, requiring a coordinated strike deep behind enemy lines. But the stakes were clear. Without bold action, the Empire would eventually crush them. The reptilian leader snarled, "A single weapon will not win this war." "No," Rhea agreed, "but it will give us the edge we need to survive long enough to fight another day." As the Alliance prepared for the daring assault, a shadow loomed over Earth. Unknown to them, the Empire's sleeper agents, hidden among Earth's ranks, had intercepted the plan. A coded message was sent back to the Emperor. "They're coming." The stage was set for the most dangerous mission yet. The Alliance was ready to strike at the Empire's heart, but the enemy was already waiting. And Earth's greatest battle was about to begin, not just in the stars, but in the trust between its newfound allies. The final blow. The combined fleet of Earth and its newfound allies hurtled through hyperspace, their engines burning with resolve. Their target was a facility deep in Imperial territory, hidden within the roiling storms of a gas giant. It was here the Empire had built their ultimate weapon, a prototype capable of destroying entire planets in a single strike. For the Alliance, this mission wasn't just a chance to cripple the Empire. It was their only hope of survival. Inside the obsidian sphere, Commander Rhea Carter stood before her crew, her expression steeled. Every face around her was tense, from the seasoned veterans of Earth's first battle to the alien captains who had joined the fight. Despite their fear, they all shared one thing: determination. "Today," Rhea began, her voice carrying across the room, "we face not just an enemy, but a symbol of oppression that has held this galaxy in its grip for centuries. The Empire believes it's invincible. They think we're scattered, weak, divided. But they're wrong." She gestured to the holographic map of the gas giant, showing the Empire's facility guarded by layers of defenses, automated turrets, patrolling ships, and energy shields powered by the planet itself. They'd fortified this weapon, believing no one would dare attack. But we're not just anyone. We're the ones who've already made them bleed. And today, we end this. A thunderous cheer erupted from the crew. The fleet exited hyperspace on the edge of the gas giant's swirling storms. The planet's turbulent atmosphere provided cover, masking their arrival from the Empire's sensors. Ships from dozens of liberated worlds flanked Earth's sleek vessels, their patchwork designs a testament to their resilience. Captain Leona Vega of the Obsidian Spear issued the first command. All units, maintain formation. Activate stealth protocols and prepare for Phase 1. As the fleet approached the facility, Earth's cloaked ships darted ahead, slipping past the outer defenses. They planted charges on key power nodes, designed to disable the energy shield that protected the weapon. Time was critical. The Empire's patrols were thick, and every second increased the risk of detection. Inside the Imperial facility, alarms blared as Earth's charges detonated. The energy shield shimmered and collapsed, leaving the installation vulnerable. Admiral Cal Drekar, who had been reassigned to oversee the weapon's defense, barked orders from his command station. Scramble all fighters. Engage the intruders. They cannot be allowed to reach the weapon. The Empire's fleet surged to life, ships pouring out of hangars like angry hornets. But the Alliance was ready. Phase 2 began with calculated chaos. Earth's railgun-equipped vessels unleashed devastating firepower, tearing through the Empire's unshielded defenses. Liberated ships, though mismatched in design, coordinated flawlessly, targeting Imperial weak points identified by Earth's analysts. The Obsidian Spear led the charge, its advanced railguns ripping through dreadnoughts that dared to challenge its position. On board, Captain Vega's voice was calm but sharp. Keep them on the defensive. Every second we buy is another step closer to victory. Meanwhile, strike teams descended onto the facility itself. Led by Commander Rhea Carter, they infiltrated the labyrinthine corridors, their objective clear: reach the control center and disable the weapon before it could be activated. As Rhea's team moved deeper into the facility, they encountered fierce resistance. Imperial soldiers, desperate to protect their prize, fought with brutal determination. But Earth's soldiers, supported by alien allies, pushed forward, their training and resolve unmatched. In the control room, Dr. Elias Voss worked furiously to hack into the weapon systems. Sweat dripped down his brow as he bypassed layer after layer of Imperial encryption. "I need more time," he shouted over the din of battle. "You've got 2 minutes," Rhea replied, taking cover behind a console as blaster fire rained down on their position. "Make it count." Above the planet, the battle raged on. The Empire's fleet, though formidable, struggled to adapt to the Alliance's hit-and-run tactics. But just as victory seemed within reach, a new threat emerged. A massive Imperial dreadnought, larger than anything seen before, dropped out of hyperspace. Its presence was like a shadow across the battlefield, its weapons charged and ready. The Alliance fleet faltered, the sheer size of the vessel sowing doubt among the ranks. On the Obsidian Spear, Captain Vega stared at the new arrival. "That's not just a ship," she muttered. "It's a fortress." "We've got no choice," her tactical officer said. "We have to hold them off." Vega's voice hardened. "Then let's show them what Earth is made of. Target their engines and fire everything we've got." Inside the facility, Dr. Voss finally breached the final layer of encryption. "I'm in," he yelled, his fingers flying over the controls. The weapons systems began to shut down, one by one. But just as the final sequence initiated, an alarm sounded. A failsafe had been triggered. The weapons core was set to overload, threatening to obliterate everything within 1,000 kilometers. "We've got to get out of here," Rhea shouted, grabbing Voss and pulling him toward the exit. "The whole place is going to blow." The Alliance fleet, battered but still fighting, received the evacuation order. Ships disengaged from the battle, retreating as the facility's core began to destabilize. The massive Imperial dreadnought, too slow to escape the blast radius, was caught in the explosion as the weapon detonated, its destruction marking the end of the battle. The Alliance watched from a safe distance as the gas giant's atmosphere erupted in a blinding light, consuming the Imperial facility and its ultimate weapon. In the aftermath, the Alliance regrouped. The loss of the Empire's prototype sent shockwaves across the galaxy, emboldening more planets to join the fight. For the first time, the Galactic Empire wasn't just on the defensive, it was crumbling. In the command bunker, Rhea Carter looked at the reports coming in from across the galaxy. "We've taken their weapon," she said, her voice steady. "Now we take their empire." Earth's rebellion had become a revolution, and humanity, once underestimated and overlooked, stood at the heart of a galactic uprising that would change the galaxy forever.